It's pretty windy again, not as bad as it was yesterday. I must admit I'm barely warm enough. I should have put my long johns on, I didn't, because I thought I'd be walking a bit. I'm not going far anyway, but never mind. The trouble is though, if you get a bit cold, you don't even want to walk when you get there. But we shall see. But look at the sun. It's 3:15 or thereabout. We've got loads of daylight left yet. I don't particularly want to go this way, but I came back up the other road just yesterday with the or the day before with the pickup. And it's quite nice to come this way with the sun more behind you for videos. But I'm a bit annoyed today. I've just not that long back from doing sheep, and I started to stop and pick up plastic bottles thrown in the field. And I know exactly who it was, because last night, for the first time in 2 or 3 years, this rabbiting guy rang up and asked if he could come round. And first thing this morning, what do I say but plastic bottle thrown at field, where they come and they set off and go home, have a drink, which is fair enough, and throw the bottle in my field just to go. They just have no concept of being sort of respectful, if that's the word. They don't want it to be respectful. Who throws bottles out where they just got permission to go rabbiting? Anyway, I rang him up and said he wasn't there. I left a message and he can't come again. Tough. I mean, you could sort of do it the soft way, because to be honest, he used to come 3 years ago, and I noticed he was doing it then as well, because I told him about it then. To be fair, he did stop, but then he stopped coming anyway, so it would only have been temporary stop by the look of it. Anyway, we shall let that go, because there's plenty of others who'll come. Somebody else rang who comes regularly, and he was over the other side at the same time. I said, well, someone else has already asked, so maybe not this time. And I wish he'd come now. Daffies are coming out down here. Coming up, not out. It won't be long though. I think it's about end of the month roughly. 3 or 4 weeks. In many ways, this is the nicest time of the year, I always think. Just start to get into this. Well, it's been relatively dry through January. Things are sort of starting to grow a bit. Dry and mildish, which hasn't been particularly mild here. We had one day it touched about, I think it was 13.8, but that was only one day, and other than that it's been not much above average really. But we've only had one frost, which is significant. Oh, some ground frost as well. That's a nice place now. That used to be a real rough old farm. We used to have about 100 cows, rather too many for it. And the old fella, there was just him and his missus, and I think they didn't get on very well. But anyway, he had some sort of problem with his waterworks. Whether he actually had cancer, I don't know. But he was he hung himself up in the woods at the top. But quite a while ago now. The weird thing is, you know, about a week before that happened, he came visiting to us, which was a bit weird, frankly, because we weren't exactly big chums. We knew him obviously quite well. He used to come down here often. And I think he was saying goodbyes, basically, because a few things he said, with hindsight, it was a bit creepy. You realised he was sort of dropping hints he wasn't long for this world or something. See, this is still firmly closed. There's very little evidence of anyone being there. There's like a house on the low side, which I have seen some cars outside and occasionally lights on. So it's like a housekeeper, but I don't suppose they're there all the time. They probably just stay there all days. You know, obviously there'll be a minor maintenance to keep up to date with. Whether they're actually running the heating a bit, I don't know. You can say we want to keep the frost out, but it hasn't been a frosty winter, so they've been okay so far. And we're getting to the point now where the days are lengthening. Even if it is frosty, it'll probably be okay. This year in the summer, I'm going to walk along this track. There's a track goes there. It's actually more, I'm not sure it isn't even Green Lane. It's past them bales. And along these bank sides, I can't help thinking there's a lot of orchids and things. Whoops. That was an ice crash. Probably been drunk. That's been to sell for a long time. The little track there on the right, down there, that goes to a house that was to sell a couple of years ago now, maybe a bit more. And I haven't seen them doing anything with it yet, because it was a hell of a rough old place. It's there, look, see that relatively tall house? I don't think they're doing anything. It's just stood empty. But I didn't view it, but I was a little bit curious and I went to have a look at it from outside, and it's a nice location. But it needed so much work doing on it. I mean, it's basically untouched since the 1950s, I think. 70s anyway. That one's been to sell for ages. Poky little place. It's not so much the house itself, but round about it. There isn't even a parking space in the street outside, because it's right on that corner. Beach Farm. There used to be a pub here, it must have closed. Was that? Oh no, there's one here still, but that isn't the one I was thinking of. The Buck Inn. That used to be see that house there? That's like the one that Manan bought. Like that one, that isn't it? I should have gone there really. There's two more coming. They go quite fast along here. This is where your 250 is only just big enough on roads like this. I mean, I can do 50 or 55, which is what most cars are doing. But you do often get people wanting to get past you. I mean, it can do... I think the top speed is 70, but it's not really happy above about 60. I certainly wouldn't like to go far on like a motorway. This is Sinnington, which is a nice little village actually. A bit prone to floods, I suspect. But up at the top of the village here years ago I visited this and I wanted to just go again. There's a church of some antiquity with a lot of old crosses and things built into the walls. And right by it there's a I don't think you go up there, no, it says it's... You maybe can go up there though. It says it's a dead end, but that's because it goes up to the church. A bridge of no consequence in the middle. This church at Sinnington, I should know the name of it, but I don't know. It has a lot of like Saxon crosses built into the wall, on the end especially. There's some in that old doorway on this end, and the old doorway, including the one in the porch, really remarkably old. I would say Norman anyway, but it's been given quite a makeover in a sort of arts and crafty style. I'm not sure that ties in with known history. But then right by it, here, turn on to that, this barn, which I'll just zoom in on a bit. Yeah, this barn, you see it? Back out again. Anyway, that barn there, it's thought it could be part of some old, like, monastery or something, some kind of monkey involvement, because it's massive and it's rather unexplained. On this end there's a window being largely filled in, and look at it again on the video. I'm not going to go up to it because I have taken some stills I'll insert, but see how it's being used as a barn at the moment, like storage. The lower part has windows in it, but it'd be very interesting to see inside it, wouldn't it? And this obviously it's a farmhouse really, but it's more like a hall type building, isn't it? And so clearly this is the original, like the lord of the manor or whatever would be up here. If you look at the weather vane, it looks like a pair of knickers. They're scorched on one end. But I took photos this years ago, and the path was completely lined with aconites, and I kind of fancied taking a close-up shot of that, but they've more or less disappeared. I'm back on the air again, hopefully. So that the weird thing is, it doesn't say it's blah 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 church on the gate. But I found it before. I know it really. Sinnington Church will do. It's still very early to be doing this sort of thing. Firstly, it's not very warm, and secondly, the days go downhill fast at the end, especially when it's a bit cloudy like now over there. If it were blue sky, I would get away with it.